Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is self compassion, and what we have been doing is the little mini acts of self compassion for ourselves when it comes to approaching our mindfulness practice. So, finding ways that make it easier for us to practice. So, I've been calling them the training wheels. So, what are the training wheels that you need when you're practicing? Maybe what's going to be helpful. Maybe the first question. Hey, what is going to be helpful for me today? When I start, and that's actually something you can do. You can start your meditation practice and see how things are going from that beginning. You know, is the posture, what is the posture that's going to be helpful for me? Are there any techniques that I can use that are going to make it easier and more welcoming? When I focus on the feeling of breathing, if that happens to be what I do when I practice my mindfulness meditation, is there anything I can do to assist? Is there a way to not get frustrated as easily? So maybe counting breaths, or counting the number of seconds of the inhale or the exhale, or having some phrases that we can use. There's all kinds of different things that we can do to add self-compassion into our meditation practice and make it easier to show up. So what we're chatting about is self-compassion and how to bring it first, how to bring it into our meditation practice, because meditation is the way to help keep building up ourselves for our mental health. And you don't have to take my word for it. There are plenty of studies out there that show what happens when we meditate regularly. So, and that really, the disciplined practice of sitting and focusing on the breath, or focusing on one particular object, training concentration, watching and noticing when the mind has wandered away from that object and gently bringing the mind back to that object. Super powerful. And so if you can find ways to cultivate self-compassion and to meet yourself where you are, I think maybe that's kind of one of the themes of self-compassion, is learning how to meet yourself where you are. And something that is intrinsic in this is acceptance, right? We've talked about the 9 attitudes of mindfulness-based stress reduction. One of them that really is key to self-compassion is acceptance, is knowing where we are. I've used an analogy of, if you're trying to get somewhere and if you have a map. Let's say your GPS is broken, you can't use your GPS to figure out where you are, and you have a map and you're looking at the map. If you don't know where you are, you're not going to be able to go and get to where you're going. And so that's really this very first step of self-improvement, is this radical acceptance of self and self-situation. Where am I right now? It sounds super simple, but it's just so easy to get caught up in trying to make ourselves believe that we are not where we are. And I think this is a good little segue for, there are a lot of sessions on Insight Timer about affirmations, and I think this is probably the thing I take issue with most about affirmations, is that it's very common for us to assure ourselves that we're okay and we're doing great, when in fact the exact opposite is true. And so, and I think that's the other interesting thing, is that we think that this kind of convincing ourselves that we are where we are not is an act of self-compassion, where I would argue the exact opposite. That in fact, the very first step of self-compassion is this radical self-acceptance, as to recognizing and knowing where we are without putting on any blinders, without putting any fog down to make seeing what's here less challenging. It's going to be challenging. That's just the way it is. To see things as they are, it can be very unpleasant. However, it is crucial to this process of self-compassion. We can't be loving towards ourselves where we are if we don't know who we are and where we are. And I really can't stress enough how important that is. And I'd say, the next steps of self-compassion really help to soften our feelings when we discover the challenging time that we're in. So as we look through and we look with clarity and honesty where we are, we recognize that, yes, this is difficult, this is challenging, but I'm not alone in this experience. So, hi Rachel, hi Sherry, great to have you here. Jean says, my main mantra is it's okay not to be okay and to meet myself there. And J.E. says, affirmations that aren't true backfire because we don't really believe them. Instead of I am compassionate, could try I am working on compassion. Thanks for sharing. And I think that's that's really true. Hi Alexa. Great to have you here. So the 3 steps of compassion in general, and not just self-compassion. So today's session is about self-compassion, which really is kind of the foundation for all of our compassion, because as we explore self-compassion, one thing that we realize, and although this maybe takes time to realize and takes more practice, is that we are not separate from the universe that gave rise to us. And we are not separate from all of the other human beings that are here. And as we recognize this connection that we have, that no matter what your political view might be, that's maybe one that a lot of people can relate to, 95+% of you is exactly the same as the person next to you. No matter what their political view, no matter what the color of their skin is, no matter what their religious belief is. And if you want to really go, if you want to get technical and get down to the genetic level, right, it's well over 99% of what is the same in me is the same in this other person. And it's just our comparing minds. We are human beings. We like to compare things because, that's in our biology, right? The better, that's what makes us never satisfied. That's why, that's the foundation of Buddhism, right? Why does Buddhism exist is because human beings are never satisfied. So, what can we do? That's kind of the main philosophy of Buddhism. So let's recognize and accept that we are forever unsatisfied. So what can I do to minimize the discomfort that my biological dissatisfaction brings to me? And I think that's a really interesting little piece. So we are the same as everybody else, no matter what our minds, what our comparing minds tell us. So we want to look at, hey, look at this, look at her car, look at her fingernails, look at her hair. She's, her situation must be so much better than mine. How can I climb to those heights? Well, of course, without knowing the truth behind what this person is experiencing. So the first step of self-compassion is mindfulness. Where am I, right? Looking around, accepting where I am without judgment, right? That's mindfulness. Without judgment, seeing if I can be aware of my own judgments about my own situation as well. And the comparing mind is part of that. So as I'm judging, I'm looking around and going, "Oh, these situations are better. Is it possible to just focus on me and where I am in this moment?" Right? That's the first step, mindfulness. The second step is common humanity, recognizing that I am not alone in this struggle, that every single human is dissatisfied with their life, no matter how great they may look like they're doing and how much they've acquired or how much status or power or wealth or whatever they have, there is something in them that is still deeply unsatisfied. And everybody struggles. And specifically, whatever situation that you're having right now, right, that's one thing we tend to do is personalize our situation. That this situation is me and I'm stuck in it all alone in my life. And something that you can trust and rest assured in is that you are not alone, is that although you are special and unique and your situation is completely unique in that there are certain factors about the situation that are unique to you, generally speaking, what you're experiencing, the emotional landscape, the thoughts that you're having about your situation are not unique, and that there is certainly another human being on this planet right now that is sharing in this difficulty that you're having. Although it's not identical, extremely similar. So that's the first step. Mindfulness. The second step, common humanity. So see that my human experience is not isolated and it's not just about me, that there are so many others that are experiencing a similar difficulty. And then the last step is offer kindness. So mindfulness, know where we are. Number 2, common humanity. See that I am not alone. I am not alone in this situation. And by the way, you are not alone right now. You're here with a bunch of other people who are sharing this experience with you. And I would encourage you to connect with the Insight Timer community. It's really here to help and support you. And a lot of what you will find is that what people are experiencing here is similar to what you're experiencing. Step 3 is offer kindness. So find a way to offer kindness to yourself. It's respond to yourself with care, not criticism. What is the voice inside of your head like? What does that, what happens when you screw up? What do you hear? Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I feel like such a fool. And our protecting egos, that's this is another biological thing, right? Our sense of self is so strong inside of ourselves. And, I don't know, maybe we're linking back to that difficult time we had in high school or junior high or something. And we think that, when we make a mistake, everybody saw it and everyone's going to remember it forever. And I'm going to be ridiculed and hurt for whatever this mistake is, when in fact the reality is that our sense of self is strong and blows it out of proportion. And it turns out that actually whatever it is that's just happened is just a temporary thing, and it isn't as big of a deal as we've made it out to be. So I've got a couple little more tidbits to share about this. We'll get into it after the meditation, but I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to do our meditation together. So we're 17 minutes into our time together. We're going to we'll meditate until about probably around the 37-minute mark, something like that. So about 20 minutes of meditation. So welcome, everybody. Get comfortable. And, in self-compassion, often I start the meditation with, okay, find a comfortable seated posture, crown of the head towards the ceiling, all of this kind of stuff. And for sure, that's a posture that you can sit in. And this is the posture I'm going to sit in as I lead practice today. But with mindfulness and acceptance, who is it that's here today? What version of you is showing up? And can you choose a posture that is going to be loving and kind and open to whoever it is that's here today? So maybe sitting up straight and tall isn't the right posture for you. Maybe crossing your legs isn't right. Maybe you want to relax and lie back on your sofa today. Maybe you want to lie down. So I think especially with self-compassion, I think it's important to choose a posture that's going to be conducive to this practice of meeting yourself where you are. So find that posture. So maybe step one, mindfulness. Just take a moment. Who is it that's showing up here today? What state am I in as I show up to this practice today? And then choosing a posture that is going to be as conducive as possible to what you've discovered in this several seconds of checking in with yourself. And as we get going in practice, we'll be doing a little more checking in before we get in. So as you arrive into your posture, just take a few moments to notice that you're breathing, that you are alive. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "It is not a miracle to walk on water. The real miracle is to walk on this green earth." To bathe in this moment. To be alive. So just take a few moments to remember what a miracle it is that you are here and you are alive. No matter what story you may tell yourself, trust in this fact. The fact that you are here and you're alive. There must be more right with you than wrong with you, no matter what your opinion about the situation is. Your liver is functioning. Your kidneys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Your heart is pumping. Your lungs are breathing. So just take a moment to acknowledge this physical reality of your body. That you live in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. befriending this vehicle, which, maybe we don't always feel connected to, but know that this body is me just as much as anything else I think is me is me. So following the breath, feeling the air moving in and out. And so now expanding beyond the body, being aware of the mental state. Maybe as you were trying to focus on the breath, you found that your mind continued going other places. There's something pressing at work or in your family or internal to you that is so loud inside your mind that when you try to focus on your breath, it just doesn't work. That you keep going back to this possibly unpleasant thought. And so, can you accept this is the way my mind is right now? This is what my mind is doing. As much as I am trying to hold it on observing this physical sensation, it just won't. Can you be okay with that? And then what about the emotional landscape? Perhaps thoughts are bringing up emotions. Can you feel those emotions manifesting in the body? So noticing this whole triangle of body, mind, and emotions. See if you can be aware of how all three play together like a symphony. And again, as we look at this with mindfulness, seeing that this is a miracle. This is beautiful in its own way. Getting a chance to glimpse non-judgmentally even difficult emotions can be like spotting a wild animal on safari. What does it look like? Can I examine even the difficult emotions for everything they are? Bodily sensations, the thoughts around them. You can discover the more you practice, the more the observing mind strengthens, the more we can see ourselves with objectivity. So roll out the red carpet. Welcome me, the me that's here right now, the me that's here today. And now, whatever it is that you're experiencing, we are human beings. We all have particular attributes. We all have comparing minds. We all experience emotions. And those emotions were critical to our survival many years ago. But whatever you're experiencing right now, or a week ago, or a year ago, or what you're going to experience in the future, it's not unique to you. That we all experience times of joy, of happiness, and times of sadness, depression, anger, fear, anxiety. And whatever you're experiencing now or will experience in the future, it's shared with all other humans, as we are connected through our biology. So you can rest assured that whatever experience you're having, it is shared with another person. And you are not alone. In fact, it is our own human failings that becomes the foundation for our compassion. As we see our own failings, it's like we can extend out a pillow for ourselves to fall on. That we become like a perfect parent, ready to embrace ourselves in these difficult times. And that our compassion outwards towards others becomes completely natural. In fact, we can't even help it, because we've learned to see ourselves and recognize that all humans face these same challenges, this same kind of unsatisfactoriness with life. And it's through this that I can begin to offer myself kindness. So what was it like? Do you remember a time in your life when you were loved unconditionally? See if you can recall a feeling of unconditional love. Was there someone in your life who loved you unconditionally? Maybe a parent, a grandparent, a brother or sister, maybe your child, maybe a really close friend who always took care of you. Perhaps one or more of your pets. So can you recall that feeling of being loved unconditionally by another person? What was it like to be cradled? Maybe not physically, or maybe physically, by their unconditional love for you. So just take a few moments to remember that. And see if you can feel the feelings, where they manifest in the body. And now you'll see, well, if you have never experienced unconditional love from another, can you imagine what that might be like? And so what I've just done is kind of tricked you into loving yourself unconditionally by seeing yourself through the eyes of another. So this imagination, in fact, as you see it, there was no other person in this exercise, that it was all you. So you can become that other person. You can love yourself exactly as you are right now, without needing to be any different, without needing to be stronger or smarter or more loving or more compassionate than you already are. You have the capacity inside you. And if you find this practice challenging, that's common. That's another part of our common humanity. But you'll find that there's a spark in there, if nothing else. Maybe you haven't flexed this muscle ever, or maybe it's been a long time. You'll discover that you have this innate capacity for self-compassion, that you can love yourself exactly as you are. It is possible. And so what can be helpful if you're still having difficulty is to repeat some phrases and see if you can get to the meaning behind the words. Don't just repeat the phrases like a mantra. Really do your best to mean them. Get down to the meaning of the words. So repeat after me. You can do it out loud. You can do it in your mind, whatever you feel comfortable doing. May I be happy and contented. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I be kind to myself in this moment. I give myself permission to soften. And so now, meeting yourself exactly where you are, observing the body, the breath, the mind, the emotions. Who is it that's here now? And now, let's close our practice and our time together with 3 rings of the bell. All right. Congratulations, everybody. Good job in making it through today's practice. How'd it go? What came up for you? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Please feel free to share in the chat. Love to, as always, kind of see what happened for you. Can feel free to offer feedback. What was this helpful for you, or do you prefer regular meditations? Just love to hear from you. Thanks, Ika. So great to see you. I'm just gonna put up the follow me the follow me card. If you don't follow me already on Insight Timer, please do follow me. That's the easiest thing that you can do to help me on Insight Timer. So to have my content more out there for people. This is how I am able to continue doing this that I love doing. So thanks, Gene. And Loki thanks you. So this is I'm guessing that, I'm guessing some of us that look for unconditional love from our pets. Thanks, Caesar. Appreciate that. Alexa says, wow. For me, it was easy. Felt good to recharge after my day. Thanks, Alexa. Jill says, I appreciate that you mentioned remembering when someone loved me unconditionally. Thanks, Jill, for sharing. It really helps. It's a great little way to reconnect with that, and to teach ourselves how to do that again. Alexa says, I actually do self-compassion every night before bed. Thanks. I miss meditating with you too, Angela. Thanks for coming back. And let's see, the other thing is, if it's helpful, if you feel okay to do so. Obviously, donations help me continue doing this here on Insight Timer. So, yeah, if you found today's session helpful, feel free, no pressure, to donate so that I can keep on doing this work. Thanks, Alexa, for your donation. Appreciate it. Okay, next time we're going to see how this goes outwards. So as we practice self-compassion, what we can discover is that it's not just here. That as we start to practice self-compassion, we can't help but have our compassion start to go outwards, because we do, through that step 2, that common humanity, we can see through our own common humanity what we have in common with everybody else. So, that's the doorway. So as we love ourselves more, it becomes easier and easier to love others. And as we take more care of ourselves, we'll discover that we are more equipped to take care of others as well. Burnout is, mindfulness certainly can help with things like burnout. Thank you, Jill, for your here, hold on, let me go. Thanks, CC, for your donation and for the cat food for Frankie. I don't know where he's behaving today. He's not scratching at the door. Thanks, Jill, for your donation. Thank you, Rachel, for your donation. Thank you, Jean, for your donation. Me says, thank you very much. I wanted to share, but autocorrect took over too much. Thanks. Okay, so look forward to chatting with you then. It's going to be about 47 hours from now. So 47 hours and 15 minutes, I'll be back, and we'll be talking about how compassion with self starts to link with compassion to everybody around us. So wish you all the best in your day or evening as you go forward, and hope to see you again soon. Take care, everybody. All the best. Oh, I almost forgot to do the last set of well wishes, so let's do it. So see how it goes out from me to everybody else, and maybe you'll see that it comes out naturally. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life on this planet, in this universe, including those yet to be born, may we all be happy and peaceful. Thanks again. See you soon. Bye-bye.